Hey Face2Face fans, Face2Face Hoss here again. I'm here to give you your results from the June 14th show at Face2Face Arena. The show started off with Dominic Stuckey coming to the ring, not to wrestle necessarily, but to introduce a friend of his named Casey Fox. She had hoped to join the Face2Face women's division. She was given the opportunity, if she could win a match, she would get a Face2Face contract. And he was introducing her, and they asked for any female superstar to come out to the ring to have a match with her so she could show her skills and get her contract. Unfortunately, the person that answered that call was Simon Sermon. And he says this is 2019, time for equality, and he's going to be the person to wrestle her for that contract opportunity. The match did not go in Casey's favor. Simon was just brutal to Casey Fox. In certain points, he was stomping on her hair, jerking her head up. You could hear her scream throughout the entire arena. I'm sure they could probably hear her outside the arena. Finally, mercifully, he locked her in the figure four. She tapped out. Dominic hopped in the ring to check on her. And of course, Simon reached under the ring, grabbed a metal pipe, and attacked Dominic Stuckey again, leaving Dominic bleeding from the mouth and face. So I'm not sure when Dom's going to be back, but I'm sure when he does come back, him and Simon are not done. The second bout of the evening was a rematch from the previous show, Damage Inc. versus the Anderson brothers. Once again, Damage Inc. came out on top and retained their Face2Face Tag Team Championships. They won the bout, which was a hard-fought ground and pound style match with a combination rock bottom swanton bomb. But they again made kind of short work of the Anderson brothers. The third match of the evening was Ciamara versus Tracy Grotto. Tracy Grotto is new to Face2Face. She came out and was very disrespectful to the fans, especially some of the younger female fans that were in the audience, got in their faces. The fans weren't appreciative. Ciamara came out to great applause. The match started with them going back and forth a lot during the match. Then they kind of worked their way outside the ring. Ciamara ended up eating a ring post for a second, which gave Tracy the upper hand. Tracy used that upper hand to once again get in the face of some of the younger fans in the audience. Then she took Ciamara, put her back in the ring, and she stayed kind of in control for quite some time until they did sort of a double drop kick, knocking both of the ladies down for a little while. Then when they came back up, it was a lot of back and forth, a lot of close pins. I felt sorry for our newest Face2Face referee, Nate. Poor guy had to go up and down a lot for 2 counts. Well, then Ciamara finally won, beating Tracy Grotto. The fans love that. And hopefully one day soon she might get another shot at the Face2Face Women's Championship. After the Tracy Ciamara match, the next person to come out to the ring was Axl Ross. However, he was not ready to compete. He came out in street clothes. He grabbed the microphone and explained to the fans that he was still not medically cleared to compete from the car accident I told everyone about earlier in the week that he had recently been in. Well, next thing you know, we hear Slim J's music. Slim J comes to the ring, gets in Axl's face, calls him a coward, and says that his injuries weren't real, and that he didn't see it on the news, so it wasn't really there. Next thing you know, Slim J sucker punches Axl. Axl tries his best to defend himself in his damaged state. Long story short, Axl gets put into a submission by Slim J, attacking that taped up back. Luckily, Suicide came in to save the day. And after Suicide saved the day, Slim J tried to run to the back, but Teddy Long wanted none of that. And Teddy Long decided they were going to have a match. Their match had a lot of back and forth, a lot of close pins, a lot of 2 counts, but unfortunately for the fans, Slim J came out on top. Now I'm hoping here in the near future Axel will be healthy again and can get that one-on-one match with Slim J to get retribution for that cowardly attack. The 5th match of the night was once again another rematch, Cosmo versus Shoot Taylor. This was their 3rd installment. This match was a lot of back and forth, a lot of ground and pound, which was kind of not usual for these two, especially Cosmo, who's known for his high flying. This match seemed to have gotten personal. At one point, Shoot Taylor pulls out his gold medals, puts them in the face of Cosmo. They end up going back and forth again. The medals are laying on the ground. Cosmo picks them up, showing off that he now has the medals, even though the match wasn't over. This was all in the middle of the match. Well, Shoot gets the upper hand once again, but decides not to go for the pin at this point because there had been a lot of close calls. He decides to go for Cosmo's mask. Well, as he's going for the mask and trying to rip them off, Xiomara comes out, stops Shoot. Unfortunately, that stopped the match. She put her hands on Shoot, which means Cosmo got disqualified. So, Shoot, not happy about Xiomara coming out and putting her hands on him, she goes to lock her in his finish, but Cosmo kind of saved her from that. But at the end of the match, Xiomara wasn't real thrilled with the whole ordeal, and right before she left, she pushes Cosmo, yells something the fans couldn't hear, and stormed to the back. Cosmo looked very confused, as well as the rest of the fans. The final bout of the evening was the face-to-face world champion Randy Reno. He comes to the ring, doesn't know his opponent because, as we've heard through promos throughout the week, they wouldn't tell him who he was facing. Well, all of a sudden the fans hear Fry Daddy's music. We hadn't seen Fry Daddy in months. Well, the fans weren't real thrilled about this, but instead of Fry Daddy coming out, it was Brian James. Brian James was the person that got a title match against Randy Reno because he had some kind of beef with Randy back when they were referees and all this nonsense. Me personally, Brian James doesn't deserve a title shot. He hasn't proved himself to get one, but nonetheless, he got one. Randy pretty much stayed on top for the first bit of the match. Brian did get some good shots, but every time Brian got on top, he decided he wanted to try to get the fans involved and cheer for him instead of pounding on Randy. So, of course, what happens as always, Brian gets locked in the Texas Cloverleaf by Randy and taps out just like he tapped out the week before to Apollo. So, after that, Randy decides to take his own matters in his own hands for Brian putting himself in a position he shouldn't have been anyway, and gave him a few extra kicks and punches. Well, next thing you know, the real Fry Daddy come out and of course saved Brian James, who once again needs saving, which seems to be almost a weekly ordeal that he has to have somebody save his behind. Well, as the show closed, Fry Daddy was sitting in the middle of the ring holding the face-to-face title that he had previously had, and Randy wanting his title back. He finally got his title back, went to the back as Fry Daddy danced with the fans as the show closed. So hopefully this means that there'll be a Fry Daddy Randy Reno rematch for the title in the near future. Hopefully, maybe even next show, you don't know. Well, next week I'll find out what's on the card and let you guys know. Till then, have fun.